Hey, so for my last COLOR-TINE video, I thought I would do a little voiceover as well as a step-by-step process, but it's going to be live, so this could be about 2 hours. I might shorten it when I'm not talking. And yeah, if you are actually hearing this video, or this recording I should say, this means I did not shorten it to be a speed paint. So anyway, let's get started. As you can see, I have my thing all done, it's inked, it's ready to go. But I've done a few things different. I've decided that I wanted to make all of the character line art in the same folder and on the same layer this time to save space and save time. I previously used to do it where each panel had its own group and that group had its own set of layers. But because that was very annoying to go through, I decided I would start shortening it. So now I'm gonna start doing my layers. I always color code my layers when it comes to the characters because I feel like they are the most important. I can always fix the background up or it's gonna get hidden by speech bubbles, but my characters are my main focus. A lot of people don't like to give their layers names, so I just color code them because it is easier. Now I color code it accordingly. So this would normally be blue because it's going to be clothes. Normally a lot of the clothes that I do draw are dark, so that's why I gave it blue because it's a cool color. Normally black is, I would say black is actually really cool. So that's me. The purple is for the hair, that's because I did it based off of Hell. Her hair is it's supposed to be actually pitch black, like really dark. But because I still like to give it shine and I don't want it to be completely black on the page, it's like a dark purple. And then this is going to be a red. Nope, this is not going to be a red. This is going to be a yellow for the glow. I like to make the skin glow, so I normally put yellow as in glowing because yellow is bright. And then this is going to be red because that's where I would normally do the blush or any excess like stuff on the face. And I have two reds. One is for the multiply layer and one is for the regular things that I want to keep the same color. I also shade the skin on a different layer than the skin layer because it's just easier, because if I mess up with shading, I don't have to like erase the actual skin or redo anything, if that makes sense. It's easier. So now that I have those all layered in, let me just find out where my layers are. Alright, so this is her hand shadow thingy, and this is the main background. I would normally choose a color that resembles what I plan to do with the background. So the background so far has been a brownish tone. And then I just do some that might be like to shade and then maybe some to lighten it, but I never really lighten and shade on different layers. I normally do it on the same layer. But just in case, that's there to shade it. Okay, so like I said, all my characters are now on the same layer with the inks. So I've actually done it where I've made sure they're all like closed in, all their line art is closed in. So that way I can just go in here, grab it with my little magic wand. I invert the selection, so that way I grab the inside of what I selected instead of the outside, if that makes sense. Actually, technically I would have grabbed the outside because what I clicked on was technically the inside. And then I like to shrink it by at least 2 pixels, so that way there is no color leaking out of the lines. because I am definitely one of those people that cannot color within the lines. Let me just do him. I've always confused myself on his skin tone because I feel like for the first and second page that he was on, I actually changed his skin tone in between and I didn't save it. So him, he's just gonna go in like that. I don't really worry if I get it on there or within the clothing line because the clothing is going to be hidden. Well, the skin underneath the clothes are hidden, so I don't worry about that. So now I would just color in the characters that I have selected, and now I'm gonna do her. See, it's so much like easier to just do this. Like, I wish I did it a long time ago. Ooh. Oh, also, as you can see, I accidentally grabbed that part. So now I'm just gonna select this. I'm gonna expand it instead of shrinking it because I needed to go outwards. And expand it by 2 pixels, and then I'm just gonna cut that out. Oh, her hair isn't colored in. Did I miss that? My bad. So I have their flats practically in there. I just need to erase this part. Now I can close this back up. I was just trying to show that I actually close in their lines, so I can just grab it like that. It's super fast, 1, 2, 3. I used to not do that, but then I started doing it because I was like, I don't want to keep doing this anymore. Like, I would actually... Sorry, I'm grabbing a page that has the background of the church. But I want a good color. Okay, perfect. So, what was I saying? Oh, so nope, I forgot. Oh, I used to do it where I would actually outline them by hand instead of just doing the paint bucket, which it's so much easier to just do the damn paint bucket, like just close their lines. And since I decided that Hell's Ferrywomen was going to be a more experimental comic, mostly for me to just really grow my skills as an artist, which is why Scarred Eden is actually currently on hold because, you know, Scarred Eden is my baby, so I wanted it to just look prettier than what it currently looks like. I'm honestly not very proud with the colors that have been going. The colors that are happening in the comic or the line art. I'm not completely satisfied with it, and I know the thing about webcomics is that you just grow, or you are supposed to just grow and whatever, let it be. But it's just, when people look at it, I don't want them to give it a look and then turn away because the art isn't attractive. And I know people shouldn't stick for webcomics just because of the art. They should stick for it for the story because it is a free, you know, source of entertainment. But I can't multitask, so there's gonna be parts where I just kind of pause. Oh, by the way, I'm currently just filling in the background, obviously. So anyway, webcomics, they're a free source of entertainment. People should not complain about the artwork. People shouldn't even really complain about the storytelling because you're not paying the creator to do it, but people do. And webcomics are normally given a once-over, and if the art is not very attractive and the story isn't all that intriguing, they kind of just never look at it again. And it sucks to hear that, but it is the truth, and it's something that I've been trying to accept for a while. And I don't want to because it's like, you know what, there's definitely going to be people out there that are just going to look at it and they're going to actually read it and decide for, you know, if the story is good enough. But then there's also going to be people where they don't do that. So I really want to also improve my skills because it is still my favorite story. Even though I will admit I've been doing a lot of Hell's Ferrywomen artwork, and it could just be because I need a break from, you know, Scarred Eden. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like really thinking about it recently. I was like, the storyline for Scarred Eden is kind of stupid with the way it's currently written. Like, part of me actually wants to see if I can fix it up and repost it, but I don't want to spend all the time that I've already spent, so I'm gonna see if I can try and fix the future of it to make the past seem more interesting. If that makes sense. Honestly, in chapter 5, I wanted it to be slightly different, but I actually got my scripts mixed up. So what happened in chapter 5 wasn't supposed to happen, but I had already started the thumbnails and the inking and the sketching, you know, all that process by the time I actually looked at the script to give it, you know, like confirmation, like, oh, am I doing it right? And I realized I wasn't, and I was like, oh, okay, this is wrong. Sorry, I'm grabbing another page because I need the floorboards now. I know I was supposed to be talking about my process and I started rambling about Scarred Eden, and I'm so sorry. I assure you it's only because I have nothing really to say. But I'll give you guys a little update of what's going on so far. As I said, I'm filling in the backgrounds. I would normally have each panel be a different layer, but because of how kind of bland the background is supposed to be compared to the characters, I'm doing it all in one layer. I'm not going to worry about it. Basically, the background is not supposed to be important. So in my opinion, you shouldn't have to worry about it too much, especially if it's just a bunch of walls. But you should still give it some life so it looks... I don't know if the right term would be warm, but it looks like, you know, they're in an actual place and not just in a box. Basically, that's my idea. Because even though currently it's not really important, I still try to give it some of the dark pools and, as you can see at the bottom, it's a dark pool. And, you know, some lines here and there to show, like, the wear of the place. And now I'm just doing this panel, which is actually on a different layer. Oh, no, it's not. My bad. I got distracted and I didn't look. Okay. Now it's on a different layer, and I can fill this in. So this is on a different layer because it is a panel within a panel that's supposed to be actually different from the rest. As you can see, it's a brown, but it's a much warmer and darker brown than the others. I mean, I guess the background isn't really brown, it's more of a beige, orangey that's muted. So, yeah. And I'm gonna make this, I'm color coding this layer green because it's actually supposed to be the green from here. And I'm sorry if you guys are seeing the text and you are getting spoilers. I mean, in a way, you're kind of getting spoilers just by looking at the page. And I'm just filling in the green here. I honestly really like that. I really love this green. I think it's so gorgeous. And that's one of the reasons why I was like, whose colors, her eyes, are going to be green? Originally, I was going to make them blue. I was going to make them like a very pale, kind of like a husky, like how you would see huskies with those really bright blue eyes that are just like piercing through your soul. I was thinking about doing that to make her a little more terrifying looking. But I decided against it because originally my idea for her was to be strangely pretty, but like terrifyingly pretty. So she's not like she's someone where you would see her and you're like, she's decent, but there's something off about her. And the more you got to see her, the more you'd be like, oh wow, she's really pretty, or something like that. I don't know, some weird crap. I just wanted her to be different from a lot of my characters, because I feel like a lot of my characters are attractive. In terms of, like, they're not exceptionally different. Like, if you look at most of my characters in Scarred, the aliens who are golden eyes, and they're mostly blondes or white-haired or red-haired, they, you know, that's been done before. We've seen it before, so it's really not that different looking. Like, it's hard to do anything different nowadays with someone's appearance, because it's like, it's been done before. So many things have been done before that's just like, you know, it's whatever. Like, yeah, I've seen this. There's nothing strange. So, that's why it was hard. And I also wanted Hell to kind of look like Death. So, you guys know how Lady Death looks like. She is, I think she's pale. I forgot already. I think she's pale. I think she has like a grayish skin tone, and she has white hair and red lips, I believe. I wanted Hell to be a comforting look to Death. That's what I wanted her to look like. So, like, I guess you could say, like, if Snow White was to come take you away to the underworld, like, it would be kind of like that. Not that I'm saying she's Snow White, but she's pale, she has dark hair, she has pink lips, she doesn't have red lips, and she has green eyes, not brown eyes. But even though I've seen Snow Whites with blue eyes, so I'm just thinking of the one from Disney. But basically that was my idea. I was like, you know what? I want her to, when they look at her, they see death, but they don't see an awful death. They see, like, a comforting view. Like, you know it's your time to go kind of thing, and you're okay with it. I guess that. Like, when I look at Lady Death, I'm kind of like, in my head it looks like she wants to wage war, and that's not comforting to me. Not that I'm not bashing on her. I think she's a fine character. I've never actually read any of her stories. I think she looks awesome, but she just doesn't look like Death to me. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. Anyway, so right now I'm just shading the wood. What is this called? Floorboards. I'm shading the floorboards. So right now I'm just shading that. I'm trying to make it dark where the lines are, and then it's just supposed to be kind of like faint where they're not, obviously. It's just to help give it that wood texture. And then I like to switch to my highlight tool, and I like to make it kind of glow, because, you know, they're not in a dark place. It is lit, so I'm gonna just make it look a little bright, and it also helps give it life, so you can do that. Also, if my voice starts to sound weird, even though it's always sound weird, it's because I don't have water, and I'm getting thirsty because I'm talking so much. Alright, so that's all I really have for the floorboards. Now, because of the green, I actually like to make a glow layer, which is going to, as you probably assumed, make it glow. Now, here's the thing. I don't like to get the glow on the right side of the floorboards. So basically that area, I don't want the glow there. I want the glow on the left, because that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be Just a second. I'm just trying to make sure it's all... It's supposed to be coming out, so it shouldn't be, like, shining. It's also supposed to be very faint. So it's not supposed to be actually on the floorboards. Even though that doesn't look right. Oh, I know, it's because it's above the... oh. There we go. I was gonna say that it didn't look right because it was underneath the line art instead of above the line art. Yeah, so when you do glue like that, put it above the line art, because if it's underneath, it's going to look like it's on the floorboards instead of it's coming out in between them, if that makes sense. I hope that made sense. So I always do the backgrounds first. I never want to do the characters because I like to figure out how I'm going to shade the background to figure out how I'm going to shade the characters. Now I would normally grab the panels to make sure I don't color onto a different panel. And since there are the small pools of black up top, that's where I would actually do the shading. I would do it around there so that it kind of looks like it's supposed to be there. You know what? The thing that I should have planned? I should have probably actually... So this is gonna sound dumb, but I actually build my houses in The Sims so I can figure out how I want to draw them. Instead of having to actually sketch them out in like this elaborate architectural style type of concept art, I just do it in The Sims. I see how it's going to work, and then I apply it to like minimal concept art. I don't really like to get into it all that much. And I've done Hill's house, actually. Her house is done in The Sims, but I should have done the church in there too. Like, I didn't need to put anyone living in the house. I could have just made the church and that was it. Because there's supposed to be a... Let me highlight it. Right here should be the area in which Hell and the Ghoul, where they were fighting. But then it's like, what's this? Like, this should be the wall for the... Oh, okay, I see it now. This is the wall of where the windows would be. This is the wall connecting... Wait, no, I'm lost again. Wait, no, I'm not. This is the wall connecting to the indentation of the wall, and this is the indent of the wall. I don't know. But like I said, it doesn't really matter. There's going to be text bubbles. So I hope people just appreciate the colors and they don't fight me on this. Remember to always know what you're doing. And to know where everything is placed. Because even though I want to do more detail, I want to train myself to give my comics more detail, I will eventually lose it. I will lose sight of what I'm doing, and I will forget what goes where. Such as, I don't know if it's been noticed already, I actually screwed up the placements of some of the characters that were sitting in the church benches. Some of them have been moved around, and it wasn't intentional. It was because I didn't look back for reference, and I didn't think that they would have mattered. My idea was to not really focus on them, but I figured some people are going to actually pay attention to them and be like, hey, so what's going on now that this is going down? I like that. I'm just going to darken the corners. so that way it looks more like it belongs, I guess. Not really belongs, but more like it's curving and the light is not hitting it as much. There. And I'm just going to not highlight it, but I'm going to add some lightness to it. And for that I go to my highlight brush and I just put add instead of add glow. I don't really like that. There, that's better. And I just do a bit and then I'm just going to blend it out. For my blending for the walls, I actually like to use the running color on fiber brush from the blend tool set, because it gives more of a texture. Like it actually looks like a wall texture almost, like a, what is the thing called underneath the paint? I forgot. It's not called plaster, right? Well, it gives the texture of what would go underneath the paint. It gives that bumpiness to it, and that's something that I really like. I do feel like I made this one too bright, but since the window should be on that side, it's not that big of a deal. Alright, now I'm gonna move down to hell. I'm not gonna want English. What is English? I'm not going to worry about these two layers right here, because it's just going to be her. I might darken the around her, but I don't think I'm gonna do anything much more than that. So once again, just grab this. And I also don't bother shrinking or expanding because it is just the background. It gets blended in very easily, those fine little pixels, so I don't worry about that too much. So my idea is to make it darker against hell versus behind her. Actually, should I make it darker behind her? Normally I would try to make the background behind her slightly brighter because I feel like she's so dark, but I do sometimes worry that because her skin is so pale that it would kind of not, you know, it would be pointless what I'm trying to do. And now I'm just going to do the little brush tool where I blend it. If you guys hear that, is my rabbit on a paper bag. I know I said it before, but he's being very loud right now. Oh, and you will have the issue where, because it's on the same layer, the colors will still blend, even though you only have this locked or selected. It's because it's not locked, and that's the problem. That's why normally I would do different layers, but I'm trying to not really worry with this one. Right, that looks okay. Oops, no, I shouldn't have gone that dark. And now I'm just going to do that. No. There, you know what, I'm going to leave it like that. That looks fine. And I'm going to move down to the panel below. And once again, just going to... I'm going to darken the rest of these. You'll see. I did it on the wrong layer. Actually, wait. No, I can use that. See, fixed. I just copied it and put it back onto the layer below. Now, normally I would actually like to do a kind of contrast. So, like, that would be dark over on the left side, while the one above would be dark on the right side, so it gives kind of a contrast, but I'm not going to worry about that because that's where her speech bubbles are going to go, so I don't think anyone's really going to care or take time to appreciate the back and forth. Not that that's really anything special, but it is something to make things a little more interesting, in my opinion. Now, I'm gonna do that, and there was something I was thinking about doing, so this is just a test. I might just, not do it, so... Do I want to do that? I was thinking about, actually outlining her hand. But I don't know if I want to do that. No, I'm not gonna bother. Instead, I'm just gonna make it brighter down here. There we go. And now I'm gonna work on those two panels, those little panels right there, with her face in them. See if I want to really do anything. Yeah, that's fine. It helps provide some, background looks to it, and that's all you really need when it comes to panels that are that small. You really don't need to go into too crazy of a detail, because the focus is supposed to be on her face, not anywhere else. However, the church doesn't look light enough. Let me see. Oh, I wonder if it's that. Okay, I think I know what it is. Okay, this is gonna be it, right? That looks more like it. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. Now for the shading, I would actually do like a pinkish, kind of like how you see in this one. Because I think it's absolutely gorgeous, the pink like this. I don't really want to get it on the wood there, so I'm just gonna do that. And I don't want it too much because it's not supposed to be like, wow, that's a lot of pink. It's just supposed to be a little subtle. Yeah, I don't really need it anywhere else besides on the walls. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and I'm going to move on to the clothing now. So when it comes to the clothes, I just do my little magic wand, and I'm going to select the items that I want. I'm going to be doing her first. Her name is Pyrrha. I think that's how you pronounce it. It could be Pyra, but I think it's Pyrrha. I believe it's... Actually, no, I don't even want to say what kind of name it is because I could be wrong, so I'm not gonna bother. So I'm just going to use my little lasso now and just grab the lines. And by the way, I never worry about getting it on the hair because the hair layer is above the clothing layer. So that means you won't, see it. However, you want to be cautious with the skin layer because you don't want to get the, the colors on the skin. You can erase it though, so no biggie if you don't care. But if you want to be picky and you want to do this as clean as possible, I would suggest just not grabbing it on the skin layer. Okay, so that's it. And then I'm gonna go to color sheet and do that, and it's a rinse and repeat, so this is going to be sped up. Alright, so I don't know if anyone has picked up on what I do when it comes to her lace, or it's supposed to be lace that's on her chest. But I actually just grab a black, I make a new layer. Let me color code it to be the black layer. I just go in, I go underneath the clothes so it does not bleed over, and I don't really have to worry about erasing it. And then I just lower the opacity where it's decently dark, so like at an 80 is good. And then I make another layer where I'm going to grab my effects. Oh, it's called decoration. Apparently it's a decoration tool. And then I grab the hatching tool and I grab the diagonal. You guys can read. You know what tool that is. And I just make little cross hatches. But you don't want to like just do whatever. You kind of want to line it up perfectly so it doesn't look clunky. Like if you pay attention in any of my speed painting videos or any of the COLOR-TINE videos that I'm doing, you'll see that it's, you know, it's literally just grabbing the diagonal tool and just doing that. And it's easy peasy. Do I want to make it darker? Okay, yeah, 85 is good. I never set an exact opacity for that because I just didn't care, if I'm being honest. And for the clothing layer, I also do the colors for their teeth and eyes. So for that, I normally grab like a muted beige or whatever. By the way, apparently I say beige wrong. I don't know if that's true, but if I do, feel free to say I do, and you can't even bother correcting me because however you say it or you spell it, I'm probably still going to say beige. So, or maybe I don't say it wrong, it's the way I say it. I know in high school, these two kids were like, why do you say beige like that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Isn't this how you say it? And then like how they said, or how I said it, I heard them say it that same way. So I was just like, I have no idea what's going on. Oh, by the way, I wanted to point something out to you guys. Do you see how when I get really close it starts to pixelate, even at this point? Like, see how pixelated their lines look? Go out one? That looks okay. That looks okay. That's kind of pixely. But when I use my Scarditan pages, because they're so much bigger, I don't have that issue. It's so clean, even really up close, and that seriously bothers me. Because I just feel like it looks wrong. Like, the line art looks wrong. And I'm just hoping that, you know, if I do actually print these series, it looks really nice. Because even though this is supposed to be like my testing / practicing webcomic for now and for something for me to do, so when I'm in a funk with Scarditan, I don't stay in that funk. I can just, I'll just hop over here and I'll just get rid of the funk with this one. Or whatever. Basically something for me to do when I'm too tired of drawing really tall people with really long blonde hair. I'm actually really loving these series. I forgot where I was going, but I know it's going to be something like, I'm really loving what I'm doing so far, how I'm drawing. And I honestly wouldn't mind actually pursuing this in the future along with Scarditan. So, yeah, that's something to look forward to, I guess. I don't know, I just felt like saying that, letting you guys know, like, hey, so I'm really into this. Alright, so I did that, and now I'm gonna do their hair. Actually, I want to color in her eyebrows because I don't like how you can see so much of her head. Or skin, I should say. There, and I can just leave the one as like fray stuff. Oh, actually, I need to make one more layer because there's a special scene. I'm gonna make that green. I'm sure you guys can tell, but it's these lines, these small lines on her cheek right here. Right here, this cheek. That's what the green layer is gonna be for. Okay, to the pinkish stuff. So the red layer would normally be the makeup, the blush, freckles, whatever it is that you want to do, like the extra details. I also like to use it for her nails too, so it doesn't go straight onto the skin color. What was that? That was my phone, but I don't know where it is. Oh, just a second. I'm back, and I have a glass of water. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me in the past. How long have I been recording? Hour. I've been recording for an hour. Alright, so like I said, red layer, I'm just gonna do the pinks, blushes, nails, fancy stuff. Now I'm just going to blend in their cheeks and wherever else that there is pink that's not their lips. Alright, so instead of just going straight to like the freckles and the special stuff, I like to start shading the skin at this point. So when I shade the skin, because I don't know if you heard that, but a car just honked a bunch of times. So instead of I forgot how to explain it. Basically, I just grab their natural skin tone, I pull it down to a darker side, but then I move it over to the gray side because I'm going to use a multiply layer, so that's actually going to make it warmer and darker. And if I had actually used that during, instead of, if I had used the tone that I grabbed and I just moved it to be darker, it might have been too warm for my taste, which I don't like. So I'm just like, you know, making it darker, but also making it cooler because the multiply layer is going to make it warmer for you. And now that I finished shading the parts that I currently want to shade, I'm going to go ahead and blend it. I'm currently trying to decide if I want to do the clothes or if I want to go straight to doing the darker reds now. So I'm going to do the darker reds just to finish it up. Because right now her skin tone is looking kind of bleh. I keep thinking something's off with Hell, like something's not right in this one that I'm coloring, but I can't really tell. I wonder if it's because of the way that her face kind of looks right now. Also, her chin is just a little reddish. Just a little. When it comes to doing the reddishness to other skin tones, I normally like to grab their base skin tone and just move it towards the red, and whichever side is obviously the reddest, I will use that to help give it some, you know, reddish tones. But I also like to be very easy on certain skin tones because, like, this character, she's already very warm. She's supposed to be, like, I don't even know how to describe her skin tone. I can't speak English. She's supposed to be kind of like a tan and obviously not white. So I really don't know how to describe it. So she's already pretty, you know, warm. So I'll only really try to do her nose and knuckles. I personally just like doing knuckles and some hand parts because I think it gives an extra, you know, like, life to the character. And then to do the glow, I would grab the reddish tone that I grabbed for the multiply layer, and I'll try to make it into the slightly more brighter section, and then I'll just use it very gently because you don't want it to glow too much. Let me actually look at her to see how much she's... So it's so weird because she looks perfectly fine here, and here she looks warm, like really warm. Let me look at other pages of her. I wonder if I did something different. I wonder if I control U'd her. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna see about doing the control U. When I feel like I messed up on a skin tone, I will normally select their skin color, or, you know, I'll use my little lasso tool, grab only their skin tone. I will hit control U. You can't see my little box, but I will normally desaturate it if I have to, or I'll just brighten it up. I think that looks more like the other tones in the other pages. Let me see. Yeah, that looks more like it. Okay, so I must have fixed it as I was going in the pages. So I'll have to actually fix her official color sheet soon, because she was ridiculously warm. Okay, anyway, back to the glow. I keep thinking something's wrong with her skin tone, so that's why I keep going back to her, to the other pages to look at her. But I'm just gonna leave it as it is. I think it's because I haven't done everything else, so it looks a little weird to me still. And then for him, I just grab his neutral, his base skin tone. I don't make it any more red. Normally for men, I won't really use a lot of blush on them, because I don't want them... I just feel like the blush will really make them look more feminine than I would want them to. So I don't do that. For the freckles, since I don't have a set color, I will just grab the more warmer and darker part of her face, and I will just use that as a freckle base, I guess. And I'm just going to lower the density of it because she does not have dark freckles. Why is that coming out so dark? Let me see. Okay, there we go. She's supposed to actually have like very light freckles. Like they're there, but you'd have to look at her face to really see them. And then I'm just gonna put some on her hand right here, just to make it look kind of cute. Alright, now I'm going to go on to the clothes because I feel like the clothes are really screwing me up when I'm looking at her skin tone. Like, it just looks so weird. Now, for Hell, she is supposed to actually be wearing a black dress, almost. But because, once again, I didn't want to make it pure black, it looks purple instead. So I guess just pretend she's actually wearing a very dark purple dress. I imagine it would be velvet too, because velvet's really nice. Velvet or silk. I would picture her in one of those. So when it comes to like highlighting her dress, I really don't do much to it. I only highlight where the more rounder curves are. That's why this sleeve is actually black, because it's supposed to be a black dress. Now I definitely want to do the thing on her skin, and since it's going to be my first time doing it, I guess just bear with me. I'm trying to fix myself here, and I dropped my mouse, so I don't screw up. Not sure if it's clear or obvious what I'm trying to do, but I'm trying to make it look like her skin is turning to ash, almost. Now, that's not something I've ever done before, so it's something I'm trying today, and I'm trying to make it right. And it's supposed to be almost like it's cracked, and around the cracks would be the green, like the glow from the floor. I definitely feel like it's more obvious there. Nope, that's not working. Okay. I don't know if I want to do it like that. And then to make the ash, I'm going to, let me see if I can grab a paintbrush and do this. Emphasizing texture, maybe? That's probably gonna blend it anyway, but basically this. And I'm going to actually make particles in the air from when she grabbed her cheek, or touched her cheek, I should say. To make it look like it just came off of her. And I'm going to outline this white so it's visible. And then I'm going to make another layer just in case, and I'm going to actually make it on her skin. Like it's actual skin cells that she rubbed off or that she got on her. Move this up here. I wonder if I can texturize it to make it look better. Actually, let me see. Nah, it looks weird. The multiply is more subtle, I think. Let's just go with the normal for now. Actually, no, I want the multiply. Yep, I'm gonna go with that. Okay, and let me see about this one. And you know what? I'm going to make some glowy greens. And then make it brighter. There we go. Maybe I'll make that glow, this glow. And I'm just going to do this too. There we Oops, that's not what I meant to do. But it's fine. Hey guys, so actually from this point on it's going to be a voiceover because it was getting kind of hot and I just needed my fan, so I was like, okay, I'm going to just voice over this part because I think I'll be able to do that. Anyway, during this I was just adding green glows. To be honest, I don't actually remember what I was thinking during this part. But I knew I wanted to add some green glows and I wanted to make it look like particles, so I would use my eraser to kind of erase the green parts into shapes and make it work. And then I moved on to the hair, as you can see, and I have color swatches for that obviously, and I would normally start with the darker hair and go for the lighter, at least for Pyrrha, because that's kind of how her hair works. I would just shade it really dark at the top, make some lines down, and then I would use the base color to highlight her hair, and I would go in between those dark lines to obviously give it some highlights, as you'll see here. And to actually brush or blend the hairlines in to her hair, I would use my blending tool, but I actually used, I believe was it watercolor blending? I don't know. But that's how I blended it. I would smudge it basically in 2 strokes to make it look like hair. Now when it came to Helle's hair, I actually grabbed the darkest part and I would do big brush strokes on the shaded areas and like around her neck, around her face, and underneath her hat. And then I would eventually do the highlights on the rounded parts because that makes sense because they're rounded outwards so they would catch the light. And once I did that, I would blend it using the same blending technique I used on Pyrrha. And then I would go get the darker color again and I would make strokes in between the highlighted area to make it look like, excuse you, I'm talking to my bunny, to make it look like hair strands in between her hair. Why is he always so loud when I'm talking? But that's what I did. I used the darker tones, went in between the highlights, made some hair strands, blended it, you know, usual stuff. I don't know if you can hear my computer right now, but it is working its butt off. I must be fixing up Pyrrha's hair. Yep, I'm fixing it up, giving her darker roots. So at this point I'm probably examining to see what else I have to do before I move on to the eyes. And when I go to the eyes, I actually, as you can tell, I make the pupils pitch black. So, or the whole eye I make pitch black. So I actually make another layer, I overlay that layer, or whatever, I clip it. I clip the layer to the black lines, or the face lines, and then I would go in with their base color, fill in around with the darker color, and then I would just make strokes with a lighter color, and then I would actually use a highlight tool to bring out the shininess in their eyes. I'm not sure if it's obvious. Sometimes I actually give Helle that little white streak like the others have, and sometimes I don't, and there is a reason I do that. And that's just kind of to make her look more empty and somewhat soulless. So normally when she would have like emotions or she would feel something, she would have the white streak, but when she's like kind of being cold and cruel, I decided I wouldn't give her that. And that was it for this live thing, kind of live, because right now this is a voiceover. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching this, especially because it's like 1 hour and almost 16 minutes. I don't know when I'm going to stop talking. But thank you again, and you rock. I hope you have an awesome day. I hope you're staying safe and taking care of yourself and your loved ones, and yeah, I appreciate you, and I hope you appreciate the other people around you. Alright, bye.